gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Alford, for any questions he may have.
Thank you, Chairman Joyce, and thank you to my friend Ranking Member Hoyer for holding this important hearing today. Good to see you again. You were in our office, I think, last week, Chairman Ferguson. I'm excited that you're leading the FTC. In your opening remarks, you mentioned how the Trump-Vance FTC has gone back to the agency's roots, namely enforcement of the law, which is a good thing. While I commend you for your realization that the power to write laws is and should remain right here in Congress, there are still actions that the previous chairman or chairwoman took to go beyond the agency's authority. I have serious concerns about the so-called independent agencies usurping lawmaking authority from Congress. Chair Ferguson, can you comment on the CARS rule, please?
The CARS rule was adopted, it was vacated, and the period to seek cert has long since run. So it is not effective, and at least as of the day that we're sitting here, I currently have no plans to take up the rulemaking again.
Very good. I was a proud supporter of the Take It Down Act, which passed Congress last month. In a follow-up to my friend Mr. Ivy's question with you regarding that, this act would require the FTC to enforce notice and removal requirements for non-consensual intimate visual depictions. So you talked about resources. Going forward, you are going to enforce this. You don't need a rule to do this. What resources do you have to make sure that this happens?
So what we need segregated IT systems. A lot of this material is truly disgusting stuff. Some of it will be CSAM. We don't want that intermingled with the rest of our data infrastructure. And then we'll need specialist investigators and lawyers who can deal with this often truly horrifying material.
How much extra is that going to be an investment from the taxpayers?
So given the current status of the budget and the skinny budget, I'm not in a position to discuss specific numbers, although I'm happy to have my staff discuss that with you directly offline.
When you get those numbers, we would like, this is very important, I think, for the future of our country. And if it's going to be done the right way, not through rulemaking, but through enforcement from you and the Federal Trade Commission, we've got to make sure you have the resources you need to do the job to take care of this issue.
I look forward to working with you on getting those.
President Trump recently issued an executive order to reduce anti-competitive regulatory barriers. How is the FTC implementing the executive order, and has the Commission already identified specific regulations that are inhibiting market competition?
So consistent with the President's executive order, which I think is one of the most important things that the President has done in a series of amazing executive orders, we issued a request for information to the public, asking especially small business owners, if you are aware of regulations that are making it harder for you to compete, tell us what they are. We wrote letters to all of the agency heads in the federal government last week and said, send us a list of regulations that you think are anti-competitive that you enforce. And if you think that they should not be deleted, an explanation about why they should not be deleted, because presumptively we think anti-competitive regulation should be deleted. That RFI, that request for public assistance, is still open. It closes in the next couple months. The agency heads are supposed to produce stuff to us and to the Department of Justice on a rolling basis. We are waiting for stuff to come in before we start identifying specific ones, but we will have an army of lawyers and economists ready to go on this with the Department of Justice. And once we've identified them, we're sending them to the President and OMB with recommendations for deletion.
You said they're coming in on a rolling basis. You've already received some.
Not yet. They're supposed to respond on a rolling basis.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, listen, I just appreciate you and your passion for our country and for the Federal Trade Commission, and really setting us on a new course. This golden age of America is going to include regulation and not rulemaking. And that's why we're here, and we're here to fund you to make sure you can do that job. And Mr. Chair, I yield back. Thank you.